Oh, here we go. It is Wednesday. I am Matt. This is Why Libertarian. Coming at you Monday through Thursday, usually at 7 p.m. Eastern. I got a great guest tonight. Before I get started, business as usual. Like, comment, subscribe, share, notification bell, retweet. I am live on the blockchain. If you are watching on any of the blockchain apps like Odyssey or Vim, give me an upvote. That is pretty much the only way I'm monetized, so that helps me out a lot there. But if you are watching on traditional social media, a subscribe and a like definitely helps me out in terms of search and being found and all that good stuff. So that being said, and you can check me out on all of my channels. I will scroll the link tree on the bottom. I'm giving away Hive. On Monday, I'm giving away Hive Crypto. So Monday the 31st, I'm giving away Hive at 7 p.m. Eastern. You still have time to get in. Check out my pinned tweet on Twitter. It will give you a step-by-step instructions how to get in on that giveaway for free crypto. And a lot of the people that have already entered in it by posting a blog post to enter have already made money. So it's not even like it's just free. It's also something that you can earn on yourself. So that being said, I am joined by an awesome guest this evening. He's been making the rounds on a lot of the podcasts. He is not a stranger to most folks, at least in terms of the material and the swag that he puts out there. But I got TopLobsta joining us this evening. How's it going, brother?
Hey, what's up, Mac? Doing well, as Ron
That's
Paul
good.
would say.
Yeah. Now, you told me your first name before, and Danny, there you go. So, like, I mucked that one up. I could have just been like, Danny with TopLobsta, but, you know. So I think the first question, you've probably gotten this a lot, is like, wait, what does the name mean? Like, where does it come from?
It's a reference to Jordan Peterson. So
okay.
When I first started getting, I guess, influenced in these kind of political or philosophical spheres that we're in, I was like a big Jordan Peterson guy. So shout out to Michael Heiss. I know he loves him too. So in his first chapter of 12 Rules for Life, it talks about lobsters and how they run on the same neurological system as us with dopamine. And it kind of it's a double-sided knife because as they fight, hey, what's up, Calvin? As they fight, they gain more dopamine and they stand up taller with their stand up straight with your shoulders back to appear bigger. And then also, we're on social media all day, so it's just straight dopamine hits all day long. That's really what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. You just keep your brain bathed in it all day long, basically, is what you're going for.
I'm trying to keep everybody high around me with good art, at least.
Yeah. What I love about your stuff is, like, it definitely has that element to it where, like, when you see it, it elicits a response. Right? Like it's not just static or just some kind of saying or whatever, typically there's like something emotional, whether it be a normie who's like, gonna go as a result of seeing it, or if it's gonna be like, someone who's in our kind of circle that's like all about it. Has your like how long have you been into art? Like, is that something you've been into for like your whole life or what?
Yeah, my whole life. I was in a gifted and talented program here in Brooklyn when I was in junior high school. So I did that, and then I've been drawing my whole life. Hey, what's up? Yeah. Sorry, these are all my friends. Yeah, I've been drawing my whole life, and my family is like riddled with either athletes or artists. So I kind of like straddle the line between both, and now I'm picking up my artist hat a little bit more because I figured out a way to not just do it for fun, but to monetize it, and also to really just get in front of people. So
I have you always been so like this is like the blending of what two passions, I guess. Like, did you grow up in like a Liberty household, or is this something that's kind of like just new to you?
Not at all. Yeah, in the last 5 years or so, it's been it's what's up, Mike? It's been kind of an awakening for me. So I don't know how long you guys have been in it. I'm probably either I'm really new or I'm like an old head in here. So I love the idea of liberty, and since I've been introduced to it since like the Jordan Peterson thing, which is not necessarily where we are, but it's a gateway drug to what we're doing now. You kind of read about that, and then you hear about Dave Rubin, and then you go to like Ben Shapiro and that kind of sphere. For me, that was my path, and then eventually it leads you to somebody like Dave Smith, who just drops a nuke on your head, and that's it. Change your mind.
he just throws the grenade and then walks away in slow motion is basically what he does.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I would say 5 years. You're probably. I wouldn't say that like you're an old guard. Obviously, there's been people that have been in the I'll use air quotes, the liberty movement for 20, 30 years. But that being said, there's definitely a ton of people that are in within the last 12, 15 months because of COVID and all that shit. And so that's basically, a huge amount of the people, especially the ones that are kind of like the most active on Twitter and stuff like that. So that's interesting. So you went from Jordan Peterson to like more of the like, did you start off like conservative? Because it looks like you kind of like floated to more conservative people in the beginning.
Yeah. I guess I was a New York Democrat. I really was not political. I didn't vote. Yeah. I haven't voted. I just don't vote. But yeah, I had no interest in it. And then, the whole Trump era thing happened. Even before he got elected, there was there was some strange feeling in the air. It was palpable.
Yeah.
And I started to pay attention. I've told the story on a previous podcast with Jose, but I was working in the tracks, like underground. I used to build railroad tracks, and like on election day, one guy I'm working with just screams like guttural scream down the track, and we all kind of like, what the hell happened? Maybe he got his leg cut off because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And he's like, Trump won. And I said, "Oh, this
You're
is
like,
really
holy
serious.
Shit!" Yeah,
Like, are you guys serious right now? But that was the attitude, especially here in New York, and I'm pretty sure in pockets of Jersey too, things were very weird. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that was. I think Jersey was one of the places where most of the liberal tears were extracted from. I think a lot of them from New York, specifically downstate New York, around Manhattan and that area, and then mostly California as well. But so that's interesting. So it was like kind of you started off as, say, like a New York Democrat, but because of that, you almost kind of like, I wouldn't say like you went to the opposite end of the spectrum, but it kind of like shocked you into questioning, or at least trying to explore what this all meant, which is interesting. Being in Brooklyn, what's the feel like right now? Are you guys like, I mean, because New York State is what, you guys still have a vaccine passport, or is that kind of just limited right now?
It's I think the Barclays Center is doing it. I know Citi Field is doing it. Yeah. Probably Yankee Stadium. So certain venues are doing. It's not really a passport, but they have a section for vaccinated people, and yeah, they try to advertise it to you on email. They're like, oh, hey, we're selling vaccinated. It's kind of disgusting, but that's not really the vibe that I've been getting in Brooklyn lately.
Yeah.
I drive around all day, so I drive actually all 5 boroughs, so I kind of get a good sense of what's going on. And just last week, yeah, I'd say around this time last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, there was probably 90% mask compliance, and this is just outside. You know, the people that I see, yeah, it's insane. Young people that generally healthy. I mean, so they're wearing, you know, single mask, double mask. But in the last week or so, I've noticed that I'd say about 70% of people are not wearing masks.
Wow.
And
Like a light switch, huh?
like a light switch. It's almost as if they got their marching orders from some kind of corporate press. Yeah. So, and the people that are wearing the mask, they're more lax with it. They'll wear it below the nose or under the chin, and they're talking to their friend. And on like on one level, I'm kind of like relieved, like, okay, good. But on another level, I'm just like, I'm viscerally disgusted with these people, because you can tell them to do just about anything and they'll follow along. I suppose.
They got the download from the mothership. That's what happened. It was
Yes.
like the software got updated. That's surprising. Is that the case too in Brooklyn? Because my sense of Brooklyn, like just being over the river, is like it's all a bunch of like hipsters and stuff like that. I would imagine they're all pretty left of left now.
That's the strange part of Brooklyn. So in Williamsburg, where I was at recently, there's a lot of hipsters, and that's where I'd say about 70% now. So you'll see the people jogging or walking their dog, whereas before they had the mask on, a double mask, and all the I mean, the shops, like the coffee shops, the signs that are on there are just kind of ridiculous, like just straight propaganda. But they're propagandizing each other, which is hilarious. So yeah, now I guess Fauci or whoever told them to, you know, like ease up, and they listen like dogs on a leash. But in other parts of Brooklyn, which are surprising, like where I grew up in Coney Island, and that's not a hipster area. That's like but when I was younger, I mean, there was gunshots across the street from where I lived all the time. It's the ghetto.
Yeah.
And the compliance there was almost 100%. It is amazing how it penetrates. It doesn't matter, I guess, the economic scale or the social scale. It's a mentality, a mind bug that penetrated these people, and you know, here we are.
And would you agree or disagree? There's probably going to be people for like the rest of their lives that wear masks now, right?
I don't know. I assume so.
I think there are just some people that are so mentally affected by what happened that they're like, oh, well, Japan's been wearing masks for the last, 10 years or whatever from bird flu and all that other shit. They'll be like, oh, well, I'll just wear my mask from here on out. You know, I've heard it from some people where I was like, I'm going to like an industry meeting in Orlando in September. And I was like, look, I'm going to be there giving out hugs. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, obviously, I'm not going to hug you if you don't want me to. And then everyone's like, yeah, like, whatever. And then one of the guys is like, yeah, I don't think we should ever hug again. And I was like, are you being fucking serious right now? And he was like, yeah, no, I don't think we should hug ever again. It's too risky.
I made a tweet a couple of weeks ago. I said that in like 20 years or 30 years, my kids will be grown and there'll be people wearing masks like that. And they'll explain it. They'll explain it the same way someone would explain why they wear a yarmulke, or why, like, I don't know, someone would wear some kind of headdress. Nobody would even really understand why. It would come down to almost tradition, you know?
Yeah. No, that is totally it. And you saw it with, I mean, this has been beat to death by now. I think Dave Smith talked about it, but Rachel Maddow on her show, when like all the recommendations changed, you could see like the glitch in the matrix where she was like, wait a minute, now I can't assume that people without a mask are like trying to kill me. She's like, I can actually see someone without a mask and not expect them to be like dangerous. And it was like, she had this moment of, I guess, like honesty or you know, just the wires didn't connect in her head, where it was like, she was almost afraid of that reality where you could look someone in the face again and look at them as a human being. It was so weird.
Yeah, from day to day, I struggle between is that the mask slipping from her, or is she that NPC meme where they just put a different chip in the back of her head and reboot her? I'm not sure. I like to think that these people are evil sometimes, and I like to think that they're dumb, but I'm just not sure anymore. Yeah.
Well, it's like what was it? It was in the the first Austin Powers movie, right? Where like it was the robots and he like seduced them and they started like you know, like that's exactly what it was. It was like there was
You're
like
tweaking
a
out.
glitch that kind of hit, you know. Um,
Yeah.
no, but so that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So like things are beginning to open back up again. Is Brooklyn like? I mean, there's the sports stadiums are open full, I think, or for the most part full because the Knicks had like in Madison Square Garden they had I think a full crowd the other night. Is that pretty much everywhere, or is there still stuff that's kind of like shut down or you know limited?
I think that there's a hard date, maybe early next month, where they're opening 100%. I don't even pay attention to this stuff, man. I I go to work, I come home, I watch my kids. I try I try as best as I can, or I was trying for a long time to not partake in this society's culture. And
Yeah.
now it's become pretty easy. I had messaged or wrote in the live chat a long time ago, or maybe on Twitter. I was watching you guys and someone else, and I was like, "This has just replaced late night TV for me, like this great libertarian programming." So thank you. I don't
Yeah.
have to watch this crap anymore.
I quite frankly, that's the same for me. Like if I wasn't here on the camera, I would be watching someone else. And in fact, like I don't know if you're like a big sports guy or not, but I mean, I almost entirely stopped watching. I'm a baseball and football fan, and then I'll watch basketball just if like I have to, you know, fill some time or something like that. I'll watch the Knicks or the Nets just because they're local and New Jersey doesn't have a fucking team anymore because we sold that shit out. But you know, I hardly watch professional sports anymore. It's mostly you know either this stuff or I'm trying to find other stuff like this that's alternative media that gives me like a broader perspective, you know, to try and kind of like open that up. But like I had the same response. Not to mention the fact that you know we were talking about kind of like the propaganda and stuff. Just like these people's brains are so warped, probably because they've been sitting in the house watching CNN and MSNBC for literally 15 months, like in a nonstop news cycle. I mean, it's basically like mental conditioning at this point, you know?
Yeah, it's mental torture. But yeah, I was a big baseball fan. I played baseball my whole life, college baseball, and I love the game. I'm a Yankees fan. Over there, I do woodworking, but I built a Yankee facade above these like inlays that I have in my basement here to watch TV and stuff.
Yeah.
I love baseball. I haven't watched a Yankee game. Like I haven't turned it on in my house in 2 years. The first time after COVID, or not like during COVID, the Yankees came back to play with no audience, and on the mound they had on the back it was like a Black Lives Matter symbol. And you know, whatever, however you feel about the organization, I understand the underpinnings of it, and I also understand the police brutality part of it. You know, we're libertarians, so like we're the best on both sides of this. But I also understand Edward Bernays' propaganda when you're trying to just subtly put something in my mind or in the minds of my friends and family. And I've been gaslit by my family also because, you know, they turn the game on and I'm like, are they kidding me with this? It's like on the mound. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to see somebody throw a ball.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you're always thinking about politics, Danny. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. It's literally like they wrote it on the mound, you know?
Well, so if I can show you, I moved the camera. That's my Derek Jeter Hall of Fame plaque up there in the background. All right, so
wonderful.
yeah. So I was a big the first game I ever. We're gonna lose like half our audience talking about the Yankees, but the first baseball game I ever took my son to. We watched Aaron Judge and who's the outfielder who keeps going up and down between the minors and the majors.
A redhead guy, Clint.
Yeah.
Clint
Frazier. Yeah. They went back to back in that game, and so. You know, I've been a Yankees fan my entire life. Like, same deal. Like, I watched them. For me, it was mostly the watchability part of it. But the Black Lives Matter movement, you're right. Like, there's an organization and then there's the movement. And so, like, we've had people within the Liberty movement be completely okay with the movement, right? Like, especially if it's directed at the right people, which is anti-police violence, authoritarian control and stuff like that. But the marketing and the corporatization of Black Lives Matter, almost like by design, kind of killed it for a lot of people. I think that would have gotten behind it, because it got so corporate. So much so that I don't know if you saw the story. Did you see the international U.S. embassies were flying Black Lives Matter flags for the 1 year anniversary of Floyd's death?
Well, they passed a memo encouraging it, which is, again, sometimes I look at this stuff and I'm like, this is just meant to enrage us and separate us further, you know, and I can fall into that pretty easy, but I try not to react to it. So like guys like Magnus, he's really like changed my mind on a lot of these things, because, you know, he marches with all of these people and he talks with just about everyone. I kind of respect it, because in the end we are humans, we differ in ideology. And the powers that be definitely do try to separate this. Like, so Black Lives Matter fundraised all that money for, I forget the website, but it went directly into the Democratic donors campaigns.
Yeah, Act Blue or whatever.
Act Blue, right? Yeah. And that funded Joe Biden. And then if you really like boil it down and think about it, so it funded Joe Biden's campaign and Kamala Harris, just straight up, like one person who wrote the crime bill and a cop.
Yep.
And if you think about it, it would be in their best interest to distract the movement, the actual movement of, hey, these police are killing us, to make it about race. And they do it all the time. It's the easiest thing to do. You just paint black and white, or now it's Chinese, and, you know, just separate the idiots, and what can you do? Or even better yet, you know, like, you know, a guy like Magnus is at a rally there, and it's a Black Lives Matter rally. It takes one person to throw a brick through a window or smack someone in the neck, and then, you know, it's out of control. They have this down to a science. CIA, whatever. I don't want to get conspiratorial on your podcast, but it just seems that way the last year or so.
You can roll with it. I'm not going to censor you or anything like that. So I mean, like, look, I completely agree that there is an agenda, that there is a ton of people at those events, and the vast majority of those people are they're just bodies. They're there to create what they would say is the movement and, you know, the voice of the people, when truthfully what's guiding that voice is not them, right? It's other actors that are on the side or in the background. And so, they can totally misuse that. To our earlier conversation, Rufo saying, bro, I would watch the Rangers every game, even at work, have it on his phone, but he's watched 3 games this past year. I actually watched one of them with him, having a beer, like, in an actual bar, which was fantastic. Wow. My brother chiming in saying, RIP to old Magnus's Twitter. We're building them back. We're building Magnus back better. That's what we're going to do. He's
back. Unfortunately, he's not using a TopLobsta profile picture, but that is okay. Just follow that man. I like Magnus.
So to your point, he had, I think it was this past week. It was one of his most recent episodes, where I think his podcast is now called Unity or Death, I think. And he had a handful of people, Reed Coverdale included, on that podcast. Reed had to leave, but after he leaves, like maybe 2/3 of the way through, they're talking about these different kinds of like movements and what happens at an actual protest. And these are people that span the political spectrum, and they were basically saying, it's unnerving, because if you went for a specific purpose. But then, like, say it's BLM, and you go for BLM, and all of a sudden there's, like, you know, there's pro-abortion people, there's, like, you know, save the rainforest people, and you're like, whoa, hold on. What are we doing here, right? Like, and I think Tim Pool has talked about this on his show, too. Like, what are we actually advocating for as a community, as a group? And it also happens that there ends up being, like, these litmus tests where it's like people will come up to you and ask, like, well, what's your view on this? What's your view on that? And if you give the wrong answer, they're like, get the fuck out of here. And you're like, but wait a minute, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the one thing we agree on. It was an absolutely fantastic episode.
Sounds like the Libertarian Party.
That is exactly the Libertarian Party. Which, by the way, like the whole like lib unity thing and stuff like that, what's your take on it?
Give it a shot. You know, there's some people that you can't work with, I guess, and then there's some people that you can. You know, and that's really, I don't know. Do what you want to do. Isn't that the Libertarian motto? It should be, right. Do what you want to do, as long as don't hurt people, don't take their shit. So try it, go for it. I think it's a good idea, but it's like someone said, it's like herding cats. And yeah,
Yeah.
it is like herding cats.
It's like herding cats with legalized meth is what it is.
Yes, yeah. But I have met some really cool people from. I guess you could say that I am a right leaning libertarian, whatever that means. On that spectrum. But I've met some people. I'm like, these people are awesome. I don't know where Reed falls on this spectrum, but he's awesome. There's another guy, Jeremy. I'm pretty sure he's like more left leaning. I think he's great. The guy Todd Hagopian. I have my disagreements, but I think that the work he's doing is great. There's the lady with the pink hair that she organized for the Mises Caucus.
Carol Ann.
Carol Ann, I think she's great too. Yeah. There's a lot of great people.
The spectrum is fantastic. And now what's interesting is, so would you classify yourself as a libertarian? I mean, like, classifications suck to begin with, but would you say that like you're kind of more on the anarchist spectrum, or are you more on the, I mean, you use the phrase right-leaning libertarian, like, would you say you delve into anarchism, or is it pretty much like you're believing kind of like a monarchist?
No, I'm not. I've grown. I was a minarchist because that's where you start. But then after a couple of months, then you're an anarchist because you realize that when you boil these arguments down to their logical conclusion. I don't know where you're at, but that's where I'm at. I wouldn't push it on anyone, especially the new people. You'll get there eventually, maybe. So I suppose I'm an anarchist, but I do donate to the Mises Caucus monthly. I do work with them. I'm working with Michael Heiss now to design some shirts for the Mises Caucus. I work with Josh Smith, who is, he's part of the Libertarian Party. I have no problem with that. I'm actually a member of the Libertarian Party also. So I don't know. I mean, listen, you got to cover all of your bases here and just throw everything at the wall, see what works. So in my heart, I know that government is complete garbage. So actually, my brain is going somewhere. I want to do a drawing of Michael Heiss, but I don't know if it'll offend him, but I'll say it here anyway. Michael Heiss is Frodo with the ring, and when you do get the ring, like he's at the pit, and should he throw it in? And he's like, throw it in. And Michael Heiss is, I don't know, because that's really what it comes down to. They're not trying to get political power, they're trying to message, but yeah, stranger things have happened. We've got Trump. Yeah. Imagine.
Yeah. Well, so no, I think that's completely apropos to conversations that I've had as of late. That you've seen some of them, or like we've been in group chats about and stuff like that. It's if you're building a party to beat the other parties, right? Like, what does that look like afterward? Does it get corrupted or co-opted or something like that? Yeah. Or, is it like, I have reasonable expectations that if someone like Shane Hazel gets elected, like, he's not just going to get elected and then get like drunk off the power. He's going to get elected. He's going to dismantle it, turn the lights off, lock the door, and then like the bulldozers will come in. Like, I have a reasonable expectation that he'll do that. But again, I mean, like, anyone who has like money thrown at them or power or prestige or fame, like, I'm pretty sure just as forthright of people have, gone astray. So, I mean, you're right. Like, you mentioned Josh Smith. Was he the first person that you started doing artwork with in the Liberty movement, or was it someone else who kind of like got your start?
Yeah, no, it wasn't Josh Smith. Actually, I just wanted to say one more thing about what you just said there.
Go ahead.
But yeah, the Mises Caucus is very focused on local and smaller government elections and things like that, and I think that's the best way to go, because once you're talking about the federal government, this thing is so huge. Imagine just putting like a Dave Smith in the White House and say, all right, now what? But anyway, that's another idea. So actually, Dave Smith was one of the first people that picked up my artwork. I was doing like print on demand stuff, and then I decided that I hated doing like this weird topical stuff for seasons. I said, I'm going to draw what I love and what I like to draw. So I started drawing shit about conspiracies and and things about liberty, and like, Ron Paul shirts. The Ron Paul shirt you have, that's one of the first ones that I did. And then I was messing around. I was in the Inner Circle chat before it got nuked by Zuckerberg, and I drew Dave Smith as a libertarian Tupac. He's like, He's got the skank hands up, and he's got like tattoos and stuff. And Brian hit me up. He was like, "Yeah, we want to use that in like a special promotion." I said, "Absolutely." So Dave Smith, I guess, liked it. They showed faith in my work, and I was like, "All right, that's awesome." Like, it motivates you, like motivates you to do more, not just that. Not like I'm drawing into the abyss and just showing this stuff to nobody.
Yeah.
So
No,
that happened. Yeah.
that's awesome. I love that story, and I completely forgot to do this at the top, but I want to make sure that I'm showing people the website. So the website's toplobsta.com. You come out with new stuff all the time. I mean, like just on the front page, you got Scott Horton, we got Woods, we got Ron Paul, you got Murray, you got some Mises on there. This is like
Tower Gang.
What's up, Tower Gang? Are you in the Tower Gang chat?
Yeah, I'm not as participatory because it's hectic, but yeah, I'm in there.
that is I posted the other day. I was like, I have a love-hate relationship because I love what they do, but then I gotta go like 15 posts in order to like show them the respect. Involved,
your mentions, forget it, man.
But yeah, so that's awesome. So Dave Smith kind of like picked your stuff up and ran with it. And so at the time, you kind of had your own business going. Is that what was happening?
Yeah, I was using Etsy and Amazon merch page. Amazon merch, like you can open up directly through Amazon and they approve your designs from there.
Yeah.
And I was just putting stuff up. And actually on the Etsy page, I was making masks when this whole thing first started because I don't know if I know, yeah, it's like, well, this guy, I don't know, might have to end this early.
Like stuff with like screen printed on the front or what?
Yeah. So like I have a mask that says this on it: obey, submit, comply, with the vaccine on there. It's actually sublimation printed. This is Power Gang. This is a DTG, so that's direct to garment. That's like more of a press on, and then the company treats it so when you wash it doesn't rub off. But sublimation is when they dye it directly into the fabric, and that's how that company makes their masks. So I have all kinds, and I'm not selling anything like whack. I'm selling stuff that's saying, I have my biggest seller is just a bunch of NPCs, and it says obey, submit, comply. They're all saying it. So, and a lot of people buy that stuff. So I started like that on Etsy, and then eventually I decided I'm gonna like make it really niche and make TopLobsta.com specifically for like you people. I'm not interested really. If my Etsy stuff is still up, my Amazon, if they buy it, they buy it. But I'm not.
Yep.
I want to focus on the people that that I really like. So when I'm drawing, I'm having a lot of fun because I'm like, oh, they might get a kick out of this one.
Yeah. Calvin saying he's got the finest garments.
Yes. Thank you, Calvin.
And I gotta say the quality is really good. A lot of times when you buy stuff from someone who's doing custom pieces or even like political stuff and things like that, a lot of times it's like this iron-on shit. It's like the t-shirts and the hoodies and stuff like that fall apart. The quality is really high, which is what I appreciate because I think you're in the right space too, because I think people in the Liberty movement will pay up for quality because they're not looking for 9 million things. I think they're looking for a couple of decent pieces that are going to hold up.
The company I actually use, this was a whole trial and error process, and I was almost like embarrassed to bring this to the market like beforehand because I was using different print companies, and I went through maybe like 4 or 5 of them before I found the guys I use now, and they're based out of London. So if it takes a while to get you, it's because it's coming from overseas, but they do the best job. It's a small company. They do the print. They'll use different techniques depending on the color, and they really pre-treat the shirts. So if you wash them, it doesn't just peel off or fabricate or whatever the word is. And the hat, this is actually a new hat for Josh Smith. I use a different company for embroidery. Yeah, it does a good job. So
for him? I know you do like his thumbnail art and stuff like that for him too, right? Is that something where did you do all of the creative for him, or did he have other creative that was done with someone else and then you kind of worked with it?
No, from the very beginning. I've been doing from the beginning of this iteration of Break the Cycle, because he's done the show I think like last year, but he just did it on like an audio on his phone and that kind of stuff, and then he decided he wanted to do like real quality, like a quality production. It's a funny story actually. I think for Christmas or a little before Christmas, his sister actually bought the Mises Not Mark shirt from my Etsy site, and she gave it to him. And I guess he liked it. And a couple weeks later, or days, whatever it was, he hit me up and he was like, "Hey man, this is awesome. Thank you." And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. It's freaking Josh Smith." And from then we've been virtual docking ever since.
Yeah. You've definitely got a huge fan in him. I'll tell you that much. So
it's mutual.
Yeah. He seems like I have yet to like go on a show or have him on or anything like that, but just my interactions with him kind of like behind the scenes, he seems like what you see is what you get. He seems like a stand-up dude. Like there's no like false, front or anything like that. He seems like just down to earth and pretty chill, which I mean, I appreciate. I don't like people that are like super done up and postured and everything like that.
I should turn off these lights then. I don't know. I feel
no. You're right. No.
Yeah. Josh seems he is what you see. That's what he is, man. And I appreciate him, and I also kind of in a way, I guess he's older than me, so I guess I do look up to him because I see like this all day long what he's doing. He's telling me, he's like, "Man, I'm working like 12-hour shifts for 7 days in a row, or sometimes 10 days in a row," and then he comes home and he's got 100 kids, goes to Costco, and then does his show. And I'm like, damn, like what's my excuse? So sometimes I'm tired. I'm like, you know what? I'm still gonna keep doing what I do, drawing or whatever I have to do. And yeah. I appreciate that guy, man. I try to draw inspiration.
I hear what he goes through, and I have the same reaction. It's like, if I'm tired or I don't want to like do something, I'm like, but this guy's killing it. I have no excuse. Like there's no reason why, like short of my leg falling off or something, that I have any kind of excuse not to kind of like pick up and run with it. Mike Rufo saying, "Sweet Blue Star Union mug." Blue Star Union cruise. Yes, always be closing. Blue Star is definitely near and dear to my heart. Dan and a couple of the other crew, Dave, are local here to New Jersey in the area, so definitely a fan of them. And we got Troll with a Purpose saying, "When you buy bulk, you can get pre-shrunk, ready to print from the manufacturers." I don't know if that helps you or anything like that.
Yeah, I know about that, but that's the thing. Like, I like to spend most of my time doing the creative stuff, and I will pay. I have, obviously, when someone buys a shirt, I have to pay the company for the production side, and then the excess is the profit. But I'd rather pay a little bit more than take on more responsibility. I just want to draw. I don't want to get into printing T-shirts. It's a pain in the ass, man. And then going to the post office is the worst place in the world. No. Yeah. I've thought about it. I have thought about it, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. No, not right now. Not in this.
I don't blame you. Like I'm a big fan. Actually, let me ask you this. So like, it sounds like I know what your answer is going to be, but everyone kind of like asks about like, all right, do you try and like take your weaknesses and like work on those in order to improve them? Or do you like, hire someone to do that shit, and then the stuff that you're good on, you just like run like a thoroughbred on? What's your thought on that? I'm pretty sure it sounds like the latter, right?
Yeah, I like to I like to delegate some of the stuff. It's not really a weakness. It's more of just a time constraint. I've got 2 kids. I've got a full-time job, and then now I do the thumbnails for Josh. I do my website, and every day someone's like, "Can you do this? Can you do that?" And then I always say yes. So I'm like, listen, if you have work for me. And I said, yes, I am extremely backed up, but I'm getting it out. Did you see Eric Jackman's his picture today? I put it in the chat.
Oh, I didn't. Hold on, I got to pull it up now. Oh, so goodness. What did he had a picture with a piece that you worked on?
Yes, yeah. It's insane. And it took me I don't know, it took me a bunch of hours and about a month to get to him because I'm constantly stopping doing something else. But this was
this one with the plane, right?
Yes, with the plane.
Oh my God! Hold on, I gotta throw this up. This is so good, dude. People, if you have work to do and you have some money, throw this dude some money and have him do some custom work for you, because this is absolutely outstanding. I don't even know what the hell all is going on in this picture, but this is absolutely insane.
Oh, there you go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12 portraits. And then the plane, man, so much detail just in the plane. Then I had to figure out how to break it and then where to put it. Is insane. So yeah, there's Eric and Mike in the corner there shooting.
The rocket launcher with the red pills is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and then he wanted Trump and Putin chilling, and I was like, "Do you mind if I make it like weird?" He's like, "Go as homoerotic as you want." So I was like, "Perfect." We put him in a Speedo, and then you got Hillary Clinton, Jean-Luc Brunel, and all these pedophiles. I kind of resent you a little bit if you're watching this because you made me draw at least like 6 pedophiles here. Like, spend way too much time on these people.
The next gig needs to be like, more wholesome, upstanding people, please.
Yes, I'm just Ron Paul like 18 times. I'm gonna draw him in different places. Yeah, that's it.
I don't know how much you follow that stuff. Like you mentioned like conspiracy theory stuff and things like that, but with like Bill Gates and getting, like divorced and stuff, all this stuff comes up now, and it's like, you know what? In clown world, any of this shit could be true. Like like you just throw it against the wall, and somewhere along the line, something could be true. So like, if it's Bill Gates, having a regular appointment on the jet and the island, I wouldn't be surprised at this point. I would not be surprised. Do you keep tabs on stuff like that?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it like your guilty pleasure? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Tinfoil Hat with Sam Tripoli. I actually designed a T-shirt for him. Like I'm like, that's what. Listen, all this other stuff that I did is great, but I'm like, that's up on tinfoilhat.com. So like, hell yeah, man. But yeah, I think Bill Gates was it's just beautiful. Yes, it is. Thank you. I think Bill Gates was like he's just another actor, and they use him to run the football as far as they can get it, and now I guess his time is up, so we'll just go. Maybe his wife will continue his pedophile ring or whatever.
I don't know. Doing. I don't know. And who actually I've kind of followed but haven't really paid attention to was Ryan. He got booted from I think YouTube and Facebook, or
Ryan
from
Dawson.
Facebook. Yeah, Ryan Dawson, because he was on Magnus, and he was one of those people who was talking about kind of like that commonality. They were talking about, Palestine and Israel and the stuff that's going on over there. And he's got some like crazy freaking stories about like, he's like an Epstein, I don't even know what the word is. Like he was zoned in on it before it was even a news story. And he's got some crazy ass stories about stuff that some of these people were doing. And it's not like, randos. I mean, it's people and you've seen a lot who apparently have these squeaky clean images, and they really don't,
Yeah. He's got an entire map of like Epstein and his connections. He was just on Eric Jackman's Jackman Radio, his latest episode. He was on there for about like an hour and 15 minutes and just talking about Epstein. So if you want to know, he'll let you know. That was a good episode.
Scandalous. Like,
yeah.
I don't even think scandalous, but I mean like sinister, just shit, like sinister. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like demonic in a way, some of the stuff that he talks about. But
yeah,
go ahead.
I appreciate that he doesn't, well, not that I've noticed, that he doesn't get into like I don't know, the spirit, like the satanic spiritual rituality of this stuff. He just talks about what these people are doing, where the money's coming from, and then the influences and why they would possibly do it. So it's like, if you want to know, it's all right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And him and his brother, Ryan Dawson's brother, actually, they know a lot about the Civil War too. So if you want to like do a deep dive into that, they'll really blow your mind. I hope he's not mad at me still. He's
What'd you do to him?
I didn't do anything.
Did you troll him?
No. I was trying to. I did a drawing of the Four Horsemen for Reed Coverdale. He asked me to do it, like him, Dave Smith, Eric Jackman, and I drew him like I was doing it quickly, and I put him on a horse, and he was like a little too short. That he thought he was too short, and he got mad at me. I was like, shit, man. This guy, like, he doesn't even really know me. Now he hates me. I was like, I was trying to do good, man.
Dude, Ryan, give Danny a mulligan here. He needs a mulligan, all
I need a
right?
second chance. Sorry.
Yeah. Which by the way, Mike is saying so. Like, deep dive is like a phrase that we use now in like the Jersey Crew all the time because it came up when we were talking. We were talking Mike Malice's his second to last book, the New Right, and it came up in there like talking about fringe stuff, but like do a deep dive. Like, tell me how you got there, right? Like, tell me like the thought process, and it's actually turned into this project that we're working on. That's kind of like a social club slash speakeasy for liberty. So Mike as well as the rest of the crew are in love with that phrase. So
actually, speaking about speakeasies, in my house, the basement that I'm in right now, this house is from 1920. Obviously, I didn't own it since then, but this house used to be a speakeasy during Prohibition. So there was
awesome.
on that side there was a big bar, and people would just come down here and get whacked during Prohibition. So I'm libertarian to my roots, man.
Right to your house, dude. It's like built into the studs. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. So, what's the future look like for you? Do you just want to keep doing like T-shirts and custom art and stuff like that, or is there like future plans?
Well, ideally, yeah, I still want to do that and just keep doing this. Keep having fun with it. But I did buy the laptop I'm using now to specifically learn animation. So I want to start to make some of my artwork come to life. I don't really know what I'm doing with this. I'm kind of just making it up as I go. Yeah. But,
no, that's okay. That's the hallmark of a lot of good artists, right? Creatives are just kind of like throw the paint on the canvas and see where it goes. That's awesome. So no, that would be cool if you could work up some like custom animations and stuff like that too. With the number of us crazy people that are running around here doing, shows and podcasts and stuff like that, dude, that'll keep you busy too. So like, we have another pet project that we're working on that's more kind of in the political arena, but it's a for-profit entity. I could tell you that animation and artwork and things like that are going to be in demand as far as that goes. So, and quite frankly, because of the quality of your stuff and it's edgy, the great thing is it draws attention, right? So like, I can't stress it. Like, if you haven't seen it, like, you need to get one of TopLobsta's T-shirts in order to get this impression. But you walk down the street and people notice it. Like, they see it and they're like, dude, that's really cool. Like, what is that? And they're normies that are probably, R's or D's or don't even think about politics. But it attracts people. It starts a conversation. That's what I love about it. So, what are you working on right now? You have a couple more that are coming out. I know you just did Shane's murder cult one, right? Like he has a murder cult one.
That wasn't me. I did the Rothbard Texas dick for Shane.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I remember that one. Yes. Yeah. That was so good.
Yeah.
And then the Autism 316 one is like, it's simple. I mean, it's just kind of like it's real basic, but it's fantastic.
That came directly from Shane. That was from his Stone Cold. Actually, on that design, the original iteration I sent to Josh, I actually spelled like autism on his vest wrong, and I'm like, that's super autistic. Like, he should have just left it. But
what would have been great is if you like crossed it out and correct it in the graphic.
Yeah, I did that for the Michael Bolden graphic because he was supposed to be on, and then it got messed up, so the numbers got switched up. So like very spitefully, I just put an X over the number of what it should have been, and then what it is. So I hope you guys. He's super cool, that guy. I'm actually working on something right now for Cam and Jessica of the Mad Ones. They're doing
okay.
I don't actually know if I'm supposed to say it, but whatever, I said it. So yeah,
it's out there.
It's out there now. Yeah, sorry, Cam. Whatever. Yeah, I'm working on that. Doing more thumbnails for Josh. What else am I doing? And eventually I have like a queue of ideas that I want to do for my T-shirts, but like I said, I'm backed up, so I'm like all over the place,
Yeah. Well, that's tough. Like balancing the custom one-offs or whatever, or like, the individual specific requests with, something that you want to be kind of like a longer lasting like line or something like that, or something that's a little bit more cross applicable, I mean, it is what it is. So the future looks like you're kind of branching out into some other stuff and things like that. At what point in time do you have to not drive the truck anymore, and can you just kind of like do the artwork? Like, is that the goal?
Yeah, I think it is the goal. I think whether it be the artwork or I'm not really sure, but yeah, the whole point of doing this, like the designing and whatever selling for myself, is to have a separate stream of income and not be someone come to you one day and just say you're fired for whatever reason, this or that. Maybe you didn't get the vaccine, so you're fired. Sorry. Yep. Yeah. I don't know how it's far off into the future because but I'm just going to keep working. I'm going to keep doing this. Well, when I first started doing it, I was kind of just like a caveman, just keep knocking these things out and no one's looking, but whatever, just keep doing it. And now it's cool. People are looking, and I have the attention and the approval of my peers, which is great. But I'm just gonna keep doing it. I don't know. Even if you guys stop looking, I'll probably just keep doing.
Troll with a purpose has a great point here. This is where owning a business comes in really handy. That's 100% true. It's like finding your independence and your liberty. A lot of it has to do with at least having some stream of income that's yours, that you control, right? So that someone can't just snap their fingers and take it all away from you in one shot. So no, and it gives you options. It definitely gives you options. So shit, I had another question that was in my head. Now I'm like I'm like ADDing out here right now. But are you gonna be at Pork Fest or any of the other events coming up? Like, do you have a tent or a vendor set up, or are you not gonna be able to make it?
I'm going to be at Pork Fest. I'm going to be there the Wednesday, Thursday, and then I'm going to leave Friday. So I'm only going to be up for a few days. I was thinking about bringing a table and setting up, but I think I just want to go and enjoy it. Maybe I'll bring some like kind of weird business cards or something to give away to people. And yeah, I just want to go and talk to whoever's going to be there and just enjoy the time rather than being a grifter.
Yeah. Dude, there's grifters and then there's entrepreneurs. You are definitely an entrepreneur, so don't worry about that. But I can't make it this year, but I would definitely say bring some samples, man. Like, whatever you can. Like, shake a couple of hands and meet some cool people and chill out. But bring some stuff, because look, the more of this that you can do, I'm telling people, if they haven't seen your stuff, it is like it makes a statement. It is not something that is just, some stupid campaign slogan or something. Like, it legit makes a statement, and it's beautiful. Like, it's really well done, high quality. So I can't stand you enough in terms of the quality of your stuff that's coming out there. So
thank you,
awesome.
Thank you.
So look, I want to thank you for coming on. And look, when new stuff comes out, like if you're gonna launch something, blow me up on DMs. Let me know. I'm more than happy to give you a platform to talk about it. And so when you launch your animated political, liberty / anarchy cartoon from you doing your animation, dude, I'm all over it. Give me a trailer. I'll be playing it 24/7 if I have to. So
thank you, man. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah. So
I love you guys.
Yeah. So all right, I'll let everyone get to. I think is he on tonight? I forget if he's on tonight. There's a bunch of people who are on tonight, but as soon as we turn off here, Danny's gonna go flip over to like 5 other programs, I'm pretty sure. But so I am back tomorrow night. We're gonna be talking more decentralization, we're gonna be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. So, Danny, I want to say thank you. Everyone, check out TopLobsta.com and have a good evening.
Thank you. Take care, guys.